Hello, friends. Welcome to the GS Podcast episode 4. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to start today with a song. From the time we are born, we are forced to conform to the dance of the norm, but we get lost in a storm. We put up protection, it cuts off our connection. No good for the perspective and no good for the collective. And our hearts need a purification, a grand unification. 'Cause your heart is no place to put a wall. I see your heart is no place to put a wall. 'Cause your heart is where your blood pumps from. It takes care of all your vital organs. It ticks when you sleep, talks when you speak, beats when you breathe, and it bleeds when you weep. And it ticks when you sleep, talks when you speak, beats when you breathe, and it bleeds when you weep. And it ticks when you sleep, talks when you speak, beats when you breathe, and it bleeds when you weep. In your heart ain't no place but a wall. I see your heart is no place to put a wall. So get that bulldozer, knock this wall over, turn over the soil, spread the new seeds, give it water and love, and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Get that bulldozer, knock this wall over, turn over the soil, spread the new seeds, give it water and sun, and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause your heart is no place to put a wall. I see your heart is no place to put a wall. From the time we are born, we are forced to conform to the dance of the norm, but we get lost in a storm. We put up protection, it cuts off our connection. No good for the collective and no good for the perspective. And our hearts need a purification, a grand unification. 'Cause your heart is no place to put a wall. I see your heart is no place to put a wall. Get that bulldozer, knock this thing over, turn over the soil, spread the new seeds, give it water and sun, and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Get that bulldozer, knock this wall over, turn over the soil, spread the new seeds, give it water and love, and rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. 'Cause your heart is no place to put a wall. I said your heart is no place to put a wall. All right. Thank you. Episode 4 of the GS Podcast. I'm just going to change the mic situation here. Sorry for the background noise. Get everything into position. Boom. It's good to be back. Thank you for your ears. Welcome to life. Has anybody ever welcomed you to life? Nobody welcomes us to life. Like when we're born, we just come sliding in, and then we're kind of told a bunch of things about what's expected of us, like kind of slowly over time. We're like given like a bucket and mop. Okay, here you go. You got some work to do. You got some things that you got to take care of. You got to make sure that you learn this and do this and get good grades here and do that. And you got to make sure that you behave well here so that you get this and da. And then when you when you're done with this, then it prepares you to move on to this, and then you work really hard at that so that you're ready to move on to this. And it can kind of be a little daunting. That's kind of where that song came from. At least the first verse. But welcome to life. Welcome to the podcast. And I also want to say thank you. I want to thank you for being alive. And I'm sure nobody's ever thanked you for just like living. Because there's this notion that we have to like earn thanks. We have to earn everything. And there's some things that need to be earned, but there are some things that I think we're born with. And one of those things is just we are all born with the right to just be thankful to ourselves. Like we don't have to earn that. Just by like existing every day and going through the ups and downs of life and coming at, waking up every day and going to work and doing whatever the thing is that you do. Thank you. Thank you for operating relatively peacefully. Thank you for letting each other go at a stop sign. Thank you for letting the people cross the street through the crosswalk. Thank you for holding the door for somebody. Thank you for the times that you've said a quiet blessing to somebody that you've walked by on the street. Thank you for the times that you've successfully reined in your maybe not so great attitude to keep the harmony of whatever event you were in alive. Thank you. Thank you for getting on the airplane to go to the conference, to leave your family for a week to go do that. Thank you for doing that. I'm appreciative because I know what it takes to do that, and I've looked at it with myself. I'm no dummy. I see it every day. And I also know that I spent, and I still do, a lot of time kind of beating myself up and feeling like I'm not doing enough and I'm not good enough and I got to earn this and I got to earn that. And so I say, forget all that right now. Forget all that. If you're listening to this, congratulations. You've already made it. You've made it this far. Like, that's pretty amazing. No matter where you are in your life, no matter where, you don't feel like you're in the right relationship. You don't feel like you're in the right job. Or you do feel like you're in the right relationship, but you don't feel like you're in the right job. Or you feel like you're in the right job, but you're not in the right relationship. Or you feel like you want to get more physically fit. You're not exercising enough. You want to read more. You want to spend more time with your kids. Whatever the thing is. I appreciate you looking at all that. Because it makes the world a better place. It really does. I enjoy it. I'm constantly battling the ups and downs. Never have I not. Never have I not battled ups and downs. Like, just straight up depression, angst, frustration. I'm feeling that kind of stuff more these days than I have in a long time. And on one hand, you might say, how can that possibly be? Like, you're doing what you want to be doing. You freed yourself of responsibilities. How could you be depressed? Because there's this thing that happens in our life. It's very subtle. But we're very, very conditioned to operate a specific way. We're conditioned to follow the rules, to do what we're told. We have some creative freedoms within that, but that's kind of the structure. Go to school, get the education, get good grades, go to college or some kind of post-high school education. Learn stuff, get a job so that you can support yourself. Do well at your job so you make money and you can support a family and get a family, meet somebody, create a family, buy a home, and work. And then make time for vacation and make time for hobbies.
But it's really like work is kind of like, at least in our culture, that's kind of the big thing. Like work. What are you going to do for work? What are you going to do for work? What are you going to do for work? And I think we're just so conditioned to always be working. We're so conditioned to be putting ourselves into some kind of structure that, at least for me, I'm going to just speak from my own experience. Because I'm not going to say we or you, because I don't know. I know me. For me, I know how to work hard. I know precisely how to work hard. I know what it looks like when I'm working really hard. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to also work really smart. I know what it feels like to know that when I'm not working hard. I know what it feels like when I'm slacking and I'm leaving something on the table. I know what all that feels like. So it's beyond that. I'm so conditioned to be doing my life a particular way that now that I have all of this freedom, I'm finding myself, it's really unbelievable when you get the freedom, when you have the freedom, it's almost like you don't know what the heck to do with it because there's so much of it. It's like, careful what you wish for, buddy. You got it. And so when I was working 40 to 50 hours a week for whatever employer I was working for over the last 15 years, that was where my fundamental energy was going. I'd wake up and I knew that I was going to work. And then for those 8 hours or 10 hours, depending on what I'm doing, if I'm working from home or if I have to drive into an office or if I'm getting on an airplane or whatever the thing was, that's where my energy and my time was. That's my calendar was set up that way. Everything was set up that way. And now every single day is my day. Every single day is another opportunity for me to get it right. Another opportunity for me to have fun, to create something new, to meet more people, just to do something different. And so that's challenging, actually. And it causes, it can, for me, it can create like a little bit of a disturbance because I have to work at creating my own structure. I have to create it every day. It's not given to me anymore at all. I don't have kids. I'm not married. So everything that I got going on is what I'm creating for myself. And I'm the kind of person that honestly changes week to week. I'm not one of these people that stays on the same exact regimen day after day after day, week after week, month after month. I've always been sort of jealous, honestly, of people that have that ability to do the exact same thing every day. Like they're so structured. They know exactly where they got to be and and it's just this discipline to do the exact same thing every single day. And I respect that. That's not me. That's not me. And I struggled for a long time with getting up early to be in an office or to have to be anywhere at an early time. It's not that I don't wake up early. When left to myself, I go to sleep with the sun and I wake up with the sun. It's just that I like my mornings. I like having my time to myself to work out, to see the sunrise, to just be thankful for being alive. And then I can come at the day. Then I'm fully full and I can come to the day with all that fullness. I'm not waking up and like jumping right over to the computer. I'm doing something to feed myself and I'm doing something to like just pay thanks, to give thanks back to myself, to the universe, to God, to whatever, the earth, like whatever you want to call it. That thing, that's the creator, the life force, whatever it is, whatever word's comfortable. This is not a religious podcast. We're just talking whatever that feeling is. So all this freedom is showing me all of these little shadows that I've got. And we all have shadow. The whole world is shadow. And that's part of the balance of life, the yin and the yang, and the balance of light and the darkness. The shadow is basically the areas that don't get the light. It's the areas that we're not looking at. Whatever areas of our life that we're not looking at, that's what the shadow is. So for me, I see how much I procrastinate. And the thing is that when I was working for an employer over the course of the last 15 years, I had deadlines and I could procrastinate, but ultimately I had to get it done because it didn't just affect me. It would affect my team. It would affect the company, whatever the thing might be. Now I'm the only one affected by my procrastination. And if I'm collaborating with somebody, I don't really procrastinate. But when it comes to like just stuff for myself, I procrastinate. I have had this recurring dream for years. I haven't had it super recently, but I would have it for years and years and years. And I've heard other people have this dream too, where it's like the last day of college and I realized that I never went to class. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I never actually went to class. I'm going to fail that class. And the most recent thing was I just recently painted my front door and I painted like the foundation on my house. I have been planning on doing that literally since the fall of 2017. So 2 years. 2 years I've been talking about and thinking about how I want to paint my front door and paint the foundation of my house. 2 years! 2 years! Now, in all fairness to myself, I did a complete renovation of this house on the inside. I gutted the entire house. I have a brand new kitchen, new beams, tall vaulted ceilings, skylights. It was a major project. And there was tens of thousands of dollars worth of other repairs and things that I did to the house. So it's like I just didn't get to it. Okay. But there's still like a level of procrastination there because when I actually got to painting this past week, I was laughing to myself. I was like, I can't believe it's taken me this long to just do this. I mean, it was like a couple hours to do everything. A couple hours to paint the foundation, a couple hours to paint the door. The door is a pain because you got to tape the glass. I've got like glass panels on the door. And, there's more prep work and I got to like lay things down. And I am not neat. Some of you have seen my artwork. I am not a precision artist. I am more of an abstract color kind of artist. It's challenging for me. And I know why I procrastinate because I don't like the feeling that I get when I'm doing the thing that I don't like to do. It's uncomfortable. I feel frustration. It's an agitation, and I don't like the feeling, so I avoid doing the thing that's going to give me the feeling. That's been my pattern. That's my procrastination pattern. I think about the thing that I have to do. A feeling arises in me that's familiar, associated with the thing that I did maybe in the past, because I've painted so much in this house, and it's been such a mess every time. That I think about that, and I think about the frustration, I think about the agitation, I think about all those things. And that's what creates the procrastination. So I build up this story and this narrative in my head that it's going to be this bad thing and that I'm safer if I don't do it. I'm safer if I just sit here and I don't do it. And so then I come up with like excuses or I come up with justifications as to why I don't do it. Like every day I've been looking at my door. My door was like paint chips everywhere, or the paint was chipped everywhere on the door, and I'm going to just close the windows so we don't have any background noise. Excuse me 1 second. Okay. That's better. So, I've been looking at this door that's had, chips on it and the foundation's cracked. It's a mess. But I've justified it because, I don't want to do it. So I live with it. And then I start thinking about all the other things in my life that I've been procrastinating on. And it's just like there's so much, right? I mean, it could be like the little project that you want to do, or like maybe there's like a massive dream that you have that you just never looked at. For a long time, I was procrastinating with what I'm doing right now. I mean, for a long time, what I'm doing right now is kind of what I've always wanted to do. I've wanted to make music, make art, speak, do podcast, storytell for a long time, but I put it off. I would put it off for a lot of different reasons. I made up a lot of stories and narratives and like ideas about why I should put it off, and I'm going to put it off for this reason. And what I realized painting the house was the monster that I create is so much bigger than than actually doing the thing. The monster that I create in my mind about how, bad this thing's going to be, and that's why I procrastinate on it. That story is just not real. It's just not real. It was real. Maybe at one time I experienced something. So instead, I got to a place of like laughter and play. I had the music going. I was kind of dancing with the paint. I was patient. I took my time. I laid down the plastic. I had minimal spill. I did a couple of coats. I took my time. I drank water. I just was like, this is what we're doing. We're going to just do this. And you know what? It was fun. Now, in full honesty, I don't like painting. If you gave me 20 things to do and painting was on the list, I would put it towards the end of the list of things. I don't love to paint. I love art painting. Painting walls and things it's just not fun for me. It's really not a fun activity. I have to really manufacture the fun. I could do it, but it's just not it's not naturally fun for me. So I've learned something. There's discernment. Truly discerning what it is that you like versus something that you're avoiding. I think it's important to try things, to do the things, so we can learn if it's good for us or not. Otherwise, when I don't try new things, I'm basically living in a world where those things I haven't tried yet don't exist. And it's just kind of a boring world for me, quite frankly. So it was interesting. And I got a couple other things done in the house that I'd put off. So it's been the battle of procrastination. I started thinking about everything in my life that I've procrastinated on. And it just makes me laugh. It makes me laugh, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of people listening to this have things right now that you've been putting off for whatever reason. What story laugh at the story, whatever story you got right now, laugh at it because it's probably silly. There may be some truth to it, but it's probably silly. Why haven't you, taken the salsa lesson yet? There's one of you's got to have wants to take a salsa lesson. I'm sure you should. Dancing's so much fun. Oh, it costs money. Well, it's late at night. I got to get a sitter for the kids. All right, these are all legitimate things to consider in order for you to get to the activity, but they're not in the way of you doing the activity. That's the thing that I realized. I may come up with all these stories, but they're only to keep me safe. And I put safe in quotations. It's not keeping me safe. It's an illusion. These narratives and these stories are there to make me feel safe. It's so my ego can feel safe so that it can stay doing what it has been doing time and time again. Our egos don't want to grow. Our egos don't want to they don't want to expand. They like doing the same thing over and over and over again. And when presented with an option to procrastinate, oftentimes my mind will choose procrastination. Another kind of, it's not really directly related to procrastination, but another interesting thing that has happened to me, if you guys are watching this, is you'll notice that I've lost a lot of hair. I got my hair cut about a week ago. And it's been interesting. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Because on one hand, it means it's completely meaningless. Get a haircut, don't get a haircut, it doesn't matter. What you look like doesn't matter. It matters because we've made an agreement that it matters, but it actually doesn't matter because we're all aging. We're all going to be, well, God willing, we're all going to be old. We'll get to a point where we're older and our bodies are not going to look the way that they do now. The person that you chose to marry is not going to look the way that they do now, or is not going to look the way that they look now when they're 70, 80 years old. It's just the way it works. So I just want to say that because get a haircut, don't get a haircut, cut your hair, don't get your hair, long hair, short hair, medium hair, curly hair, brown hair, black hair, whatever. It's all beautiful to me. I love all of it. Shaved head. I love women with shaved heads, long hair. Men look great with shaved heads, long hair. It's all great. But there's something interesting that I noticed with this haircut. First off, I haven't looked this way with a clean shaven face and a haircut like this since 2000. I actually went back through my photos to check. March of 2017 was the last time that I was completely shaven with short hair. So that's 2.5 years ago. I'm shocked by how different I look to myself because I've been used to having a beard and kind of long hair for a bit. I mean, I've only been growing out my hair for the last, 8 months, 9 months. But the beard, at least, covering up my face, that's been something that I've had, and I've liked it. And I kind of got attached to it. I think I got kind of attached to the look, and I think it's good to just clean house every now and then. I think it's good to just do something, try something different. It's just hair, it grows back. I mean, ultimately, that was my decision. But it was interesting what arose for me when, after I cut my hair. It kind of reminded me of the way I was a few years ago. And there's parts of me from a few years ago that I'm not particularly thrilled with, honestly. And so as I'm working through some of that stuff, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, damn, I look like the guy from a few years ago. So it's bringing up some opportunities for self-care and self-love, and it's, making me realize deeper how insignificant physical appearance is. And it's quite vulnerable for me. I feel very exposed. I was very, 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 it was very comfy with that hair and that beard. I gotta be honest with you. Very comfy. It's kind of like wearing a hood and a scarf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not from being hot, but in terms of just being comfy and kind of being, hidden. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. And so that's gone. So now I'm just out in the world. And when I'm talking, I mean, even right now, I'm used to seeing hair here. So when I'm talking, I'm used to seeing hair, and I can kind of, and I'm in the hair, and now I'm just out, and it just feels weird. It really does feel strange. I feel way more exposed, and it just brings up a lot more vulnerability, and it brings up a little bit of fear, honestly. I'm also not convinced that I love this, but the great thing about it is that I could just grow the hair back out. I don't feel like a very clean-cut individual. That's just not me. And this is a very clean cut, and it feels a little off. You know what it feels like? If you go to sit down on the toilet and the seat is up and you sit down, that's what it feels like. It's like you are sitting down and you're kind of doing it, but it feels weird because you've sunk in way more than you're supposed to. It just doesn't feel right. That's kind of how this feels. It's like, yeah, I got the haircut and I feel it's good to change it up, but really, like, I don't know what's going on over here. So anyway, I wanted to share that. If you're thinking about getting your hair cut, do it because it grows back. But it's interesting when you change your appearance, like, pretty radically. It's interesting to, like, see yourself in the mirror in the morning and be like, damn, who the fuck is that? Like, what the hell's going on? It's crazy. It trips me out. Friends, I appreciate you. I've been getting feedback on these podcasts, and I got to be honest. When I recorded the podcasts, I thought some people will listen to these, but it would be down the road. Like, eventually somebody will, like, find it on YouTube and they'll listen to it. But I've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of friends and a lot of people from my life that have listened. And I think that's amazing. I'm so grateful. I thought that if only one person listened, that to me was success. That's how I would judge it. Because I have a lot to say and I have a lot to share, and some of it's just, ramble, and sometimes you're probably like, okay, we get it. You're emotional, but I have a lot to share, and I got a lot of things that I want to bring to the world. And if any of it is helping in any way, like, it's just beautiful to me. It's such an accord. It's such a resonance for me, and I'm greatly appreciative of it. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being alive. Thank you for being human. Thanks for dropping in and playing the human game. And thank you for listening to the GS Podcast, Episode 4. Think about procrastination. Think about the ways that it's potentially jamming you up in the silly stories that you've got that are in the way of you doing the things that you want to be doing. And until next time, much love, friends. Thank you.